No holidays, only holy days. Well, I say I went to church pretty much for most of my life, from when I was a child all the way up into an adult until I stopped going to church and started learning on my own and coming into the knowledge of the truth. But all my time in church, I never seen them mention or celebrate or observe none of Yahuwah's holy days. It wasn't until I got into my 30s that now I'm actually understanding his holy days and his feast days, which I can't put the blame all on the church. That's my fault because I should have been reading for myself all along. When you're into the religions and the traditions, you keep up with the traditions. You don't go off path. You stay in it, and you don't question it. You can't be a follower of the Messiah. You can't be a follower of Yahusha, but you don't do what he did. You don't observe the Most High's days. You can't call the Most High God Yahuwah your father, and you don't observe his days. That's why you got to come out of the religions. They take the truth and they get rid of what they don't want and add in what they want. It's a remix. They took the truth and remixed it, and that's what religion is. Yahuwah didn't give nobody the authority to remix it. Look, Luke chapter 22, verse 7 and 8. And at the beginning of the daylight hours of the Pekach week, which is Passover, when the Pekach must be killed, he sent Kepha and Yochanan, saying, Go and prepare us the Pekach that we may eat. He observed the Passover. That's a holy day we observe. Yahusha observed it. So Yahusha observed Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Booths. John chapter 7, verse 1 and 2. And after these things, Yahusha walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in the land of Yahud, because the Yahudim sought to kill him. Now Yahuwah's feast of Sukkot, which the Yahudim observed, was at hand. I'm going to jump down to verse 6. Then Yahusha said unto them, My time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. Go to verse 8. Go ye up unto this feast. I go not up yet unto this feast, for my time is not yet full come. See, he observed the Feast of Tabernacles, but at this time they were looking to kill him. It wasn't time for him to lay down his life yet. And he knew they were trying to kill him. He wasn't going to go with the disciples. He was going to go on his own secretly. He was using wisdom. So he went secretly. Look, verse 10. But when his brethren were gone up, then went he also up unto the feast, not openly, but as it were in secret. Verse 14. Now about the midst of the feast, Yahusha went up into the temple and taught. He also observed Hanukkah, the feast of dedication. John chapter 10, verse 22-23. And it was at Yerushalayim, the feast of Hanukkah, and it was winter. And Yahusha walked in the temple and Shaloma's porch, which is Solomon's porch in the temple. That's significant right there. This is why he did that. Look, John chapter 10, verse 1-3. Amen, amen. I say unto you, he that enters not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that enters in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. So he's telling the people, you got to enter in by the door. You got to enter into the kingdom by the door. Who's the door? He is the door. That's what he said in verse 7. Then said Yahusha unto them again, Amen, amen, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. You got to go through Yahusha. You can't go through another way. You can't go through another religion. You can't go through another name. You got to go through him. You got to do it as he did. He didn't celebrate no holidays. He only observed the holy days. He only did what his father was doing. He was telling people, you got to enter in through me. He was standing on the porch. Where's the doors located at your house? It's located on the porch. He's standing on Shaloma's porch, representing that he's the door. Because Shaloma's porch, King Solomon's porch on the temple, was alongside the outer court. It was a roofed colonnade, open air area. But it was in the courts outside of the sanctuary of the temple. You had to enter in through the door to get inside. They were on a porch. He was standing on the porch and letting them know, hey, you got to enter in the temple by the door. You got to enter into the kingdom by the door, through the door, which he is the door. That's why he was standing on the porch saying that. He was giving the symbolism. If you're celebrating holidays and doing something else that the Bible don't talk about, that Yahuwah didn't talk about, that Yahusha wasn't talking about, doing something else, You're going through another way. He said you can't go through another way. He said whoever climbs up another way is a thief and a robber. A thief and a robber is an unrighteous person. When you're doing something outside of the word of Yahuwah, when you're doing something outside of Yahuwah's will, you're in unrighteousness. You got to be doing what Yahuwah said to do.